support earlier. It is to apply for the subpoena being sent to Mr. Kumasi.
I see.
The former IT.
I see. Please take a note of that and then get it and assign it. We'll do that.
Thank you, sir. I'm very grateful.
I realized that a security group has military intelligence. Well, unknown to the security system or network at that time, of one of the agencies of the country at that time, NSO. The then DG was Alhaji Ismail Abacha. Some of the security agencies, nature of the situation and firing. Nobody could account for who was the enemy and who was not. General Abdullahi Ahmed and I were sent to hold Abacha at all costs. Lieutenant Colonel Zidon, but my lord, the cost.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, just a sentence. My lord, at this border, I'm brought to security group. I was in security group. There is an immigration officer involved. He really did a good job by making sure he was arrested. He even gave an account on how others took money, how he saw growth of bomb at the other side. Even dancing and happy. But unknown to him, they arrested him and brought him.
And he knew that the brother was neck deep in the coup.
Because it was already in radio. It was not the very day of the coup he was arrested.
You've said here that actually you did not touch him. You did not beat Tona Obolu.
Why are you going back? He said he accepts the fact that he was brutalized, but he has given us the reason why.
He spoke about his missing money. Have you anything to do with it?
My lord, the petitioner said,
asking the secretary to assist you get your performance evaluation report.
Yes, I do.
The letter is with the commission. What do you intend to establish with that?
I just want to establish so many things. My character.
Asking them, in respect of this matter, to ask for the videotapes and reports of the arrest of the petitioner, now with the CDS and DMI, the SIP report on the petitioner with CDS and DMI, and the SMT video.
Counsel, don't you think it would be more relevant when we're dealing with the petitions in which he is involved as a petitioner?
No, my lord.
What are 4 petitions?
Yes, what he has said here affects Tona Obolu. He's asking, he's asking this honorable commission to ask them to produce the videotapes to buttress what he has said. What he spoke in the tribunal that tried him, what he said in SIP, they're all videotapes, so that it will enable this commission.
During the trial of Obolu?
Yes, during the trial of the petitioner, yes. So the letter is here, it's all for the commission to ask the CDS and DMI to produce them, that's all, to support what he has said here. The letters are here. And that's all for this witness.
Counsel for the... Essentially, the facts of torture, that fact is not in dispute. But he gave a reason. It's for the commission to know.
Yes, Major Hamza. You admitted in your oral testimony that you directed soldiers to beat the petitioner, Mr. Tona Obolu, primarily as a result of the bitterness generated in the wake of the 1990 coup plot. At the time you ordered that Mr. Obolu be beaten, had he been arraigned for any offense?
No.
Please take a look at Exhibit 2, your representation.
Yes.
You have it there with you?
No, sorry.
Please refer to paragraph 13 and 14 and read them out aloud.
I never ordered or tortured anybody or the coupists until they were arraigned. At the time of arrest of the coupists, it was discovered that all coupists were heavily dosed with drugs, and from security reports, the drugs were bought by Greg Oputa, brother to the petitioner who financed the coup. 14. Nobody and I. Here, I think I may have a gap with my...
I never ordered or tortured anybody or the coupists until they were arraigned.
Correct.
Am I right to say that after they had been arraigned, you were at liberty to torture them?
No. These are two different points. First of all, you need not to tell the soldiers to beat a newcomer, as it is in Ghana.
You are a pure professional soldier. You are?
To the best of my ability, yes, I say.
Are you also a doctor?
Medical?
Yes, medical doctor.
No, I was not.
Your paragraph 13 of your exhibit 2 stated that the pupils were heavily dosed with drugs. What is the source of that information, or what was the source of that information?
They were all arrested with it. On them in their hands, there were solitaires with strings attached to it. And at any time,
Yes, Major, at the time of this school, you were a captain.
yes, sir.
A Nigerian army captain is a relatively junior officer.
Yes, sir.
Yes. In the actions you took at that time, were you obeying orders, superior orders, or were you acting out your own script as the petitioner stated in his testimony yesterday?
The petitioner, because he was to him
Also part of military professionalism to torture and order the beating of suspected pupils.
No, it's not, madam. It's not.
It is not.
It's not.
So you could have used your discretion at that time to give the orders you were carrying out a human face.
Madam, at that particular time, if there is
Thank you.
Order. Silence, please.
Thank you very much, Major. And knowing what you know now, do you think your military professionalism ought to have a limit, or should have had a limit at the time you were carrying out those orders?
certainly they should have limits. But madam, situation.
The petitioner and many other petitioners who are before this commission have made very grave allegations against you. Just to say you tortured them, you ordered their torture, ordered their beating. If you had the opportunity of, do you feel any remorse for whatever may have happened? What you may have done as a person, or what you may have ordered to be done to those people?
Madam, in responding to your question, there are two answers to it. When he finished the petitioner, I shouted his name. He turned and saw me.
Just to diffuse the term here in court. That must be there. Somebody shouting. Even in Lagos, you just said, ole. That's all. They're not repeating anybody past them beating the dead. That is so. And Churchill just say once that in the classroom, 2 plus 2 will make 4. But in actual life, it will make 5 or 3, if you are lucky. Otherwise, the blackboard will fall in the middle of the sun, leaving the class in disarray, and the pedagogue with a black eye. So let's take note of that. So we're questioning what happens here and what happened in actual life. Maybe 2 different things. Yes?
For accepting that you gave the orders for my beating, which is a departure from what you had written down, which was a total denial that you never did anything like that. This commission is succeeding. But let me clarify certain things you said now about my arrest. Were you aware that Kudirat Abiola left this country on the 22nd of April, 1990?
The record will speak, I cannot be vivid.
Okay, I put it to you, he left this country on the 22nd of April, 1990. And that at that very time, material time, he had not been declared wanted, and there was nobody in the border, whether immigration or customs or SSS, that was looking for him. Otherwise, he would have been arrested without clearance. But he was cleared and traveled officially because he was not being looked for. And I also want to put it to you, were you aware that I was in the Keja cantonment on the 23rd, and myself and Bamai, who was there then, went to the governor of Lagos State, Colonel who ordered that I should be taken to the Directorate of Military Intelligence to incident this matter. And having arrived there, I met Kalamashi, and Olu was called in, who was directed to take me away on that 23rd to go and get inventories of the materials. Were you aware of that fact?
The issue of you going to have an inventory about your...
Is that I was not arrested at the border. I personally went to Ikeja Cantonment and made this report, and myself and HRVIC left that place to the governor of Lagos State, who directed that HRVIC should personally bring me to the DMI. And it was in the DMI I was handed over to Olu, who was the person who brought me to the security group.
No.
Then, I want to put you to remembrance. Can you remember? Hold on.
When you get your records, you will certainly find out that he was arrested at the border. What involved the immigration officer? What happened to the cost of one Eze or somebody like that?
Emmanuel Eze.
Emmanuel?
Yes. Like, can you refresh your mind that Emmanuel Eze is your friend?
Yes.
You remember he told you he went to look for me in our office in Apapa? Can you remember that when he came to your office?
I can't remember.
And that by the time he came to you and informed you that he came to my office when the announcement was made that 500,000 naira was going to be given to any person who will give information that will lead to the arrest of any person who was involved in the coup, that Emmanuel Eze visited my office with a complimentary card which he claimed that I gave to him at the border to visit with me. And by the time he got to the office, he did not find my presence and he came to visit with you. And when he visited you in your office, it was then he now told you about me and I was brought in. And when I was brought in before you, you asked me before him whether I knew him. And it was when he confirmed to you on that day, which was about 3 weeks after my being in custody in security group, that you were mad, that I was the very person who took my brother to the post to travel out of the country. And as a result, in your rage and in your anger, you gave order that I should be beaten.
It wasn't so. I still affirm.
My Lord.
He was arrested at the border, and I hope in subsequent days, probably when General Bagley comes, or when you collect this report from the Directorate of Military Intelligence, it will certainly establish how he was arrested.
My Lord.
And he could testify the presence of armored tanks in a military intelligence establishment is wrong.
My
the
Lord.
presence is because of counter-coup, which they were to have.
For the purpose of the records are very clear. When you receive the records, I was not arrested in the border because Great Ogboro left this country on the 22nd of April. I drove back from the border that day. On the 23rd, I was in my bureau d'exchange where I collected the money which is alleged now to be missing in the melting pot of security agencies. I was never beaten for the first 3 weeks that I was brought into custody. Nobody touched me. The first 3 weeks I was in custody because I came with that order from Raji Rasaki that they should make sure they don't torture this innocent man. And that the beating never came up until this Eze appeared. It was on the appearance of this Eze, Emmanuel Eze, an immigration officer, who is Mustapha's friend, who was a witness in the case, that told Mustapha that I was the person that escorted my brother to the border to travel. That was the day you were enraged and ordered over 8 officers to beat me up. And when I broke loose, I came to you and told you, order your men to stop this beating. And you accepted when you were sympathetic, and you ordered that beating should stop, and ordered my going to the underground.
My response to this is that the petition human being that was brought to the headquarters military intelligence security group, particularly at that time, on that situation, there was no beating. Once you are related with the coup, soldiers must do their...
Yes, on that very time I was brought in, incidentally, I was a very lucky man. I was not beaten, I was not tortured. Even when in the SSS detention, Second Lieutenant Babamila Kume, who was in charge of that place.
My Lord, I don't want to interject.
No.
You are giving this evidence.
Yes, I am trying to show. I am trying to show, my Lord.
Let me finish.
Even Babamila Kume, he was the person in charge of the inter-center detention. A few times, Kume brought me out and said I should come and do frog jump. But I never complained because I knew he was acting in love. He said I was too fat. He wanted me to reduce some weight. And he wanted the means to discuss with me. And so when he brings me, I say, you jump. After jump, he says, sit down there. We're not drink kunu, say drink. And finally tell me that these people have given us instruction that if any counter action is to take place, we should kill all of you. But anybody looking at him will say he was brutal, but I knew he was friendly. On this day in question, you should have, thank God you have admitted you said you were enraged. Nobody beat me. SSS, I was in SSS. In SSS, they put me in air condition room, gave me satellite television to watch. At the point, they even brought me from Charity. So it was not a normal pattern that everybody should be beaten or tortured.
He has not denied the beating.
Yes.
The violation.
Yes, he has not denied the beating.
Yes.
But the fact of saying I was arrested at the border and that it was normal for any person that just enters the premises to be beaten by the soldiers. You see, I'm trying to say no, that was not the case. Because when I was brought in personally, the way I came in from the top, nobody beat me. And that I was there for 3 weeks, nobody beat me. And so the day he was the one, that's what I'm saying, you know, like I told you yesterday, he was nicknamed Captain Bulala. He was not the CEO in charge of the station. He was the 2IC, who is the coordinating officer, and everything was under him. But he acquired this maturity by his action.
Yeah, well, you know, for my part, I think I'm certain. All the other things as to arrest at the border or not, I think these are things that may be able to make our conclusions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
let me answer it. The question you asked
is life imprisonment.
Why were these officers killed for concealment?
Well, they were not killed for concealment of treason. For instance, I was charged for aiding of treason and concealment of treason. It's only concealment of treason that carries life imprisonment. If I was convicted for the aiding of treason, I should have been shot dead.
Let me tell you.
Mama Vasa and others who were killed or executed were not just charged for concealment of treason. Some of them were charged for aiding of treason or for treason or conspiracy to commit treason. But for the account of concealment of treason, the military laws and the laws of this country carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. And it's not possible for the tribunal to go beyond this concealment. In fact, like Nomju, you mentioned his name. Captain Nomju was sentenced by King Matthew's tribunal to 1 year imprisonment for acts prejudicial to the military, military discipline, for putting his personal security above national security. But the AFROC then refused to confirm that sentence, but rather they referred him back to the tribunal that was set up for YY Police Tribunal, where he was killed, murdered in cold blood.
Let me give you an answer right now. I'm come forward to seek for favor and sympathy in the eyes of the public. That is a traitor. He's not a military officer, he's a traitor. If I'm doing coup today, this coup must succeed.
Of course.
This is the way it's supposed to be. But an officer who is half-half is never to be trusted.
But
so let me tell you now, hold on, I know that you are answering you. Not you.
You know also that he reported to Kalamashi. You know so much.
I don't know, but how much do you know on the matter at hand?
You know so much on the matter at hand.
No,
but I also know much because I was a part of the whole event.
Let me clarify something here. That when I'm talking over, please wait. Please start.
Are you also from the army? I thought we were lawyers. Let me clarify. Are you from the army too? Are you from the army? You said you regret that you're alive.
No, I'm saying that for him to come here and be taking this tribunal on the journey, he had a field day yesterday. Nobody stopped him. We shall make progress. 2 cases in 1 day, and this tribunal is somewhere.
Speaking, and I need to have said something.
All I'm saying is that my lord should ask him that he will better perform well on the pulpit.
I insist on clarification of what I said. We were taken to the military tribunal. We were
sorry. We wanted to ask questions.
Yes, my lord, I'm trying to say is this.
And he said 1 question and ask man and 5.
Okay, my lord. What I simply said very clearly was that Captain Nomju, I was there, you are aware.
Is that the question?
The question is that Captain Nomju, are you aware that Captain Nomju was discharged for concealment of treason and in Igbosere tribunal, that he was discharged and acquitted for concealment of treason by General Igbosere tribunal, where the records were there very clearly that the man concealed nothing?
My lord, the answer to this question is that if I had had my way, my lord, he wouldn't have died and ordered the young men. But the issue was the acting director of military intelligence gave out a statement from video.
Did General Ike want to push by
how many more questions are you asking?
One more.
Because Ike wants to
my lord, my lord, I was just trying to establish this simple fact that this young man was charged for concealment of treason. And before General Ike went to tribunal, this man was discharged and acquitted because the family.
How does that affect you?
No, what it affects me is that he has just alleged here that concealment of treason carries death sentence, and that in my
we know
case,
the punishment, we live the laws and know the punishment of each alleged offense. We want to deal with your own case, your own petition.
As copies. General Al-Mustapha, not general. I think the fact is because the general. This was the kingmaker. You know, I said yesterday here that when I went to the Barracks, the O2 who was in charge of that place told me that the monies that were received from me in my briefcase, that you people, you and some other people were tampering with it. Did you see that money in security group?
My lord,
The group.
in security group,
Yes.
my duties were as follows. Staff officer coordinator.
My question I asked you was that did you receive the money in the security group? Because you received the money in the security group and you in the security group carried this money to the SIP. I did not carry money to the SIP. So the question I am asking you, did you see these pounds, these dollars, this naira, this guinea, this francs in security group?
No, I did not.
Thank you very much.
Hold on. This is the way it was.
Is that all for him? I can be discharged. I can be discharged.
He has one thing to clear, then he will be discharged.
Now that God has spared his life this far, and then for him to now accept to become an apostle, I want his church to promote peace, to promote reconciliation, to promote understanding. Let his church be part and parcel of the voice of this commission. That's all I want to say, my lord.
Do you want for the cooker to reconcile two of you?
No.
All right, thank you very much. They said if you can assure us it won't take more than 20 minutes. Otherwise, we can't stop him. We can't stop questions. So when it's 3 or 3, we're right. Not going.
Where do you live?
I live in London.
And what is and what do you do for a living?
Hello?
What's the nature of that detention?
Well, I don't know the nature, so the authorities to say this is the nature.
Okay, please just briefly. I don't know if you have a copy of Exhibit 1.
I have my copy.
Okay, please look at page 3, paragraph 10, where it is stated that, according to the petitioner, the National Security Advisor, Ismail Abozo, on receiving the news of the verdict of the High Court in my favor, instructed the Attorney General to appeal against the judgment of the Federal High Court. How would you respond to this?
Well, I reacted to the review. There is nothing wrong for anybody to ask whether I am right or wrong to ask for an advice.
Did you receive any response to that request?
I did not. One officer of the government.
Go to page 7 of the same petition. Paragraph 30B, where the petitioner wrote that Alhaji Gorozo should be seriously interrogated .
The way I arrest Mr. Omuru.
I never asked anybody or directed anybody to rearrest the opposition.
In your official capacity as the then National Security Advisor, was it usual in the course of your duty to seek the Attorney General's advice directly?
Yes.
It was usual.
It is very usual.
So this was no exception.
It was no exception, but when I
oral testimony that when the petitioner was supposed to have been released from prison, a prison officer flouted his instructions and refused to release him. Do you happen to know who this prison officer is?
No, I read it in the exhibit. It is there. It is stated by Abacha, not by me.
The Attorney General himself of the Federation, Chief Olukonoborowa, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, of the masses.
Which paragraph?
Paragraph 1. He said, I have received your letter and that of the National Security Advisor practically instructing me as to how I should give professional advice to the government on this matter. Could it be that the Attorney General is not learned to understand seeking advice and instruction?
Well,
Alaji.
So, as far as I am concerned, I don't know to whom he is referring, giving him instructions. Whether he is referring to me, giving him instructions, or indeed he was referring to the Minister of Internal Affairs. If you read the same quotation.
Alaji, if you would look there, you will see the letter, the forwarding letter of the Minister of Internal Affairs.
Yes.
With which he forwarded the letter. You will find in that letter there's not like advice at all. If you,
yes.
In which it was just asked, it was forwarding, you know, if I would do just to read. My attention has been drawn to the court order of the Federal High Court, Lagos, just received by the Controller General of Prisons to the effect that the convict's name above be released, as his imprisonment since 1st October 1993 is illegal and unconstitutional, contrary to the provisions of Section 39 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1979, etc. A copy of the order is enclosed herewith. It is to be recalled that Mr. Oboru was jailed for life for his part in the abortive coup data of April 1990. His release is therefore being referred for your information and advice. Your early action will be greatly appreciated, please. This was signed by Chief Alex Igbo, the Minister of Internal Affairs. And so, from the content of this letter, we found out he's asking for advice and information. But the instruction, obviously, therefore, lies that it is your advice, it was not secret. It was your letter marked secret that was practically instructing him as to how to give advice to government in the matter. Do you agree with that?
My Lord, raise an objection to the line of questioning of the petitioner, in the sense that
well, most of the rules of evidence are relaxed here.
No, sir, I want to make reference to what happened yesterday. I made an objection yesterday that what he was saying was hearsay and that he should produce the document. And it was adjourned today for him to produce the document. Now he's making a reference to that same letter.
Which document?
He said Alain Gozo wrote a letter instructing the Attorney General. And we said yesterday that it was hearsay that he should produce the document. It was adjourned that he should produce the document today.
But suppose you as what is the relevance of all this to this case? He's not a lawyer, are you a lawyer?
Aladi, in your position as the national law, you were a member of the panel that was set up by Abacha to review the cases of people held under the 2. The Inspector General was the chairman of that panel, and you were a member of that panel. Did you ever remember receiving a petition from me?
I never remember.
Did you people ever sit to examine the petition?
We did sit to examine petitions.
And you never remembered my petition?
I didn't see your petition.
Did you ever read of my case in the papers?
In the papers?
Yes, as the National Security Advisor,
yes.
It is a practice in government for you people to be keeping newspaper cuttings in respect to government. And as a member of the panel that was in charge of reviewing cases of people who were involved in human rights abuses, did you have cuttings, did you have readings of these things that were daily, almost on a daily basis, carried by the Nigerian press? And what did you do?
What has that got to do with the violation for which you brought me here?
Because the violation was being complained of daily by the Nigerian press.
There's nothing.
And in your position as a member of that panel, it would have been wise if you saw it to have done something to repair that damage.
I see. So you still believe that I did that damage? I didn't do it. Who did? You find out. You are the one that did that.
You are in position to know.
I am not in that. You, the victim, you are in the best position to know.
And in the best position of knowing, I said you did it.
No, but I deny completely and out.
That is all for the witness.
We are going to decide this moment.
And you want to discharge, I want to stay longer with us. No, I want to be discharged. All right, you are discharged. Thank you, my lord.
Petitions closed. So I'm the secretary to remember that day. That was the day I submitted in Abuja. The very last day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you are asking for two remedies, an apology and compensation.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, counsel. Any witnesses, if you need one?
Well, I don't want to call them, my lord. Their testimony will add nothing to the testimony of the petitioner.
Yes, he exonerated them.
Yes,
in his petition.
So we are not going.
Although he used some adjective against Zakari Bill. Do you still stand by that adjective?
That is based, I say, is notoriety in respect of other cases, not mine.
I see.
In my case, the law took control.
I see.
Chief, I think the proper word should be alleged notoriety.
I amend the statement to read alleged notoriety.
Right, okay.
So, my lord, that is the case for this petitioner. We apply to discharge him and also to close his case.
Which one is more like 1411? I think it's 757. Well, call 757 then. Dr. Frederick Isioton Fasil, do solemnly affirm that the evidence I shall give before this honorable commission shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Dr. Fashion,
Yes.
your full names, please. Your full name, sir.
Frederick Isioton Fasehun.
Your address.
40 Araromi Street, Mushin.
And what is your occupation, sir?
I am a medical practitioner.
You submitted a petition to this honorable commission.
Yes, I did.
With several attachments. Please take a look at this document and tell the honorable commissioner if this is what you sent to it. Is that your petition, sir?
Yes, it is.
You check the signature.
My lord, I applied to put it in evidence.
Petition.
Dr. Fasil, please read Exhibit 1.
memorandum on the gross violations of my rights and those of my family. My names are Frederick Isiotonfaseun. I am the national chairman of the Oodua People's Congress and of the Movement for Social and Economic Justice. I am a medical practitioner, a graduate of the University of Aberdeen and the University of Liverpool Postgraduate Medical School. Although I have suffered immense violations of my fundamental human rights over the years, I am limiting this memorandum to only the period covered by your terms of reference, i.e., the last democratic dispensation to date. My ordeal under General Sani Abacha. On December 18, 1996, 4 State Security Service personnel came to my hospital at Mushi to invite me for a chat. I went with them in compliance to their headquarters at 15 Awolowo Road, Ikoyi. After keeping me there for 4 hours, they took me to their Shangisha office, from where they reinforced to go and search my premises. The team was led by a Hausa man called Dama and later joined by Jezebel called Mrs. B.M. Yuadokie. They presented no search warrant. They searched my house, my hospital, and hotel for over 9 hours, subjecting me, my family, and staff to an unprecedented, harrowing experience. At the end of the exercise, they found nothing incriminating, but yet they detained me completely incommunicado in an SSS detention center built in the Ikoyi cemetery. For 11 weeks, my whereabouts was unknown to my family and friends. The psychological trauma was incredible, meant to destroy my personality and render me insane. For the first 7 weeks, I was the only inmate. I was fed on 20 naira per day until, fearing being poisoned, I went on hunger strike that compelled them to look for my wife to ask her to send me food. Even then, the breakfast submitted at their headquarters at between 7 and 8 a.m. for onward transmission to me was not brought to me before 4 p.m. and sometimes came after supper had arrived. In the meantime, my family and the human rights community went to court. The court on January 21st, 1997 declared my detention illegal and ordered my release. The court order was never obeyed. It is important to note that during this incarceration, I was interrogated for 5 days on my human rights and pro-democracy activities, nothing else. Copies of the aforesaid order for my release were served on the respondents, the Commissioner of Police, State Security Service, Inspector General of Police, Attorney General of the Federation, but rather than releasing me, the respondents filed an application seeking to set aside the said judgment and court order for my release. On Monday, 10th of March 1997, the Federal High Court dismissed the said application as frivolous. Rather than releasing me, the respondents on Wednesday, 12th March 1997, arraigned me and 11 others, many of whom I had never met all my life, before a magistrate court charged for treason. The charge was never substantiated. Consequently, no judgment order was pronounced, but I was further detained for 16 months, during which my hospital work collapsed totally and the staff dispersed. My family was disorganized and traumatized. The counter affidavit of the respondent did not interrogate me in respect of any bomb or levying war yet I was charged with conspiracy to levy war. At the close of proceedings of 12th March 1997, the Chief Magistrate specifically ordered the detainees to be remanded at 4 CID Alagma Close. Barely a week after this unambiguous order was made, Assistant Commissioner of Police Zachary Biu ordered my transfer to the hated, despicable, notorious Intercenter Detention Center cell at Ikoyi Cemetery, where I was again detained incommunicado. It is useful to know that this notorious detention camp is under the total control of the State Security Service and not an annex or part of Alagma Close. I was the only one among the detainees affected by this illegal transfer. I was detained without access to my family, lawyers, and friends at the instance of ACP Biu, who had turned the FIIB to his personal fiefdom, dispensing torture, cruelty, and death freely, uncontrolled and uncontrollable. ACP had an inscrutable hostile disposition to me and the progressive ideas I represented and still represent. It took a petition from Chief Ganifa Wahimi, my attorney, to the Inspector General of Police before I was rescued from the Intercenter 2 weeks. Even then, ACP Biu saw to it that instead of returning me to Alagma, I was sent to the special anti-robbery squad cell at Dinijadele on 5th of July 1997, where I contracted a skin disease and ended up half blind because of poor hygiene and poor illumination. When my lawyer succeeded in ensuring that ACP Biu complied with the court order of March 12, Biu had me put in handcuffs, leg chains, and clamped me in a hot iron cage, perpetually under lock and key, only allowed to go to the toilet. When I collapsed under these conditions, and Chief Olufala and Mr. Ralph Osayeme, who were co-detainees, interceded with ACP Zachary Biu, he retorted, if he dies, an autopsy would be done. Misadventure would be pronounced as cause of death. Perpetrators of this crime, retired Inspector General of Police Alhaji Ibrahim Kumasi, who lied to the Nigerian public that he had incontrovertible evidence that I and the other detainees were responsible for throwing bombs, even when there occurred several episodes of bombing after I and the other suspects were incarcerated. He issued a detention order based on unsubstantiated allegation. 2, ACP Zachary Biu, who dispensed torture, cruelty, dehumanization, repression, and humiliation freely without regard to the due process of the law in civilized society. CSP Ogaba, an associate of Zachary Biu, who carried out Zachary Biu's instructions to the letter, adding his own sinister tinge. Mrs. BMU Adoke, a female SSF operative whose wickedness stunts that of Satan. She lacks goodwill to everyone she comes in contact with, dispenses wickedness remorselessly. Alhaji Dama, an arrogant, ethnically biased SSF operative, he has no reason to be in public service. He is evil. His weapons of torture are phenomenal and revolutionary. Recommended measures. 1, all the perpetrators of these crimes should be summoned before your panel for their inhuman tendencies and to give reasons for the torture they made me go through even when I had not been sentenced for the alleged offense they created from their warped, damnable imagination. 2, I should be paid a compensation adequate to alleviate the physical, psychological trauma I and my family went through loss of earnings for 19 months, collapse of my hospital, and other business concerns. 3, unreserved public apology. 4, return of my personal belongings carted away from my house during the illegal search by men of the SSS. My ordeal under the regime of General Abdul Salami Abubakar. On March 1st, 1999, a faction of the OPC that broke away from the main sociocultural body to form a political platform perpetrated some antisocial activities. Without caring to investigate the truth of the matter, the then Lagos State Police Commissioner, Mr. Sani Agedo, unleashed squads of mobile police men on my trail and property. The mobile squads behaved as if they had orders to terminate my life. When they could not locate me, they descended on the Century Hotel, a business concern of mine, forcefully dispersed the guests and broke everything they set eyes on: chairs, windows, plates, glass, display cabinets, windscreens of vehicles. What they could not destroy, they carried away. The frightened manager of the hotel, who himself barely escaped assassination, ordered photographing of the scenes. It cost the hotel over 2 million naira to replace the glass works and repair the damage. Recommended measures. Mr. Sunday Agedo, then the Lagos State Police Commissioner, should appear before your panel to defend the atrocities committed under his instruction and command. 2, the Century Hotel Limited should be adequately compensated for the losses suffered on its property and the loss of clientele occasioned by this wanton disregard for law and order. It is pertinent to add that Mr. Sunday Agedo later found out that I had no relationship whatsoever with the group for which my life could have been destroyed by his men of kill and go orientation. I shall be willing to further assist your panel where necessary to facilitate attainment of your mandate. Yours faithfully, Frederick Isilton Fasil.
Thank you. Anything more from him, from you? Anything more?
A few more questions for you. Dr. Fashion.
Yes.
Please look at page 2 of Exhibit 1. The middle portion where you stated that you were charged for treason. Do you know why you were charged for treason?
I don't know why I was charged for treason. Like I said earlier, I was interrogated for 5 days and nobody asked me about anything that touched.
So please use the microphone, sir. You are being recorded.
I don't know why I was charged for treason. And those I was charged with, some of them I had never met all my life. Chief Olufalai and I had been quite close for some time. But we were told in court for the first time that we were involved in bombing, various bombings of the nation. But I can assure you, even up till now, I have not seen a bomb all my life.
Thank you, sir. Please look at the bottom of page 2 of Exhibit 1. Where the sentence that reads, at the instance of ACP View, who had turned the FIB to his personal fiefdom, dispensing torture, cruelty, and death freely, uncontrolled and uncontrollable.
Yes.
Was this torture dispensed to other detainees, or were you also a victim of this torture?
I mentioned it in my petition that he had a special dispensation for torturing me. I got to know later that I was even lucky among the detainees. The type of torture he dispensed to others. I hope this panel would be astounded that it could emanate from a public officer in a civilized society.
Thank you, sir. Do you know why you were singled out for such severe ill treatment?
Well, everybody knows that Bill is a very, very parochial person. He thought because I was leading the Oodua People's Congress, he didn't see why such an organization should exist. And he also thought because I was a member of NADECO, NADECO was, people in NADECO should be hounded and humiliated and disgraced and probably assassinated.
Sir, could you describe the modes of torture the detainees were subjected to while you were in custody?
Well, I can describe my own. I think the others will describe their own experience.
Okay.
Like I said, he put me in leg chains, in handcuffs, and locked me up in a very hot oven. And when I collapsed, people went to see him to say he should release me from that place. He refused. He said if I died, autopsy would be performed and a verdict of misadventure would be returned. And my very first encounter with him, the very day I was brought to him in his fiefdom, he asked that I be brought before him. And when I appeared before him, he looked at me and said, I feel like slapping you and giving you shit to eat. First, I was astounded that such dirty language was coming from an officer, a public officer, in such a high position. And of course, I had to respond that he couldn't do that and he would not dare.
Thank you very much, sir. Please look at page 3 of Exhibit 1. The title, Perpetrators of These Crimes. You listed the names of the people you alleged were involved in violating your rights. Did these people, in fact, participate in your torture, or did they give any directives?
No, they were acting under instructions.
They were acting under instructions?
Yes. I had to mention them because they were acting under the instruction of, as in that era, every nasty order came from above.
Okay, sir. Page 3, paragraph 5 of Exhibit 1. Page 3, paragraph 5. Alhaji Dama, an arrogant, ethnically biased SSS operative. He has no reason to be in public service. He is evil. His weapons of torture are phenomenal and revolutionary. Yes. Could you tell the Honorable Commission what sort of weapons were used in his used by him?
He came to interrogate me at the Inter-Center. And the first thing he did when we met was he put his hand in his pocket and put a pistol on the table. And now said, to business. And of course, he wanted to intimidate me. And I told him that I would not answer any of his questions with that pistol on the table. But he had the right to shoot. There were only 2 of us there. He had the right to shoot, but I would not be intimidated to give any answers to his questions. And after about 20 minutes of argument and intimidation from him and all sorts, he realized that I didn't care. I wasn't intimidated by his pistol, so he removed it, and we went to business. And from the way he comported himself, I didn't think he should be a public officer.
Thank you, sir. Now, the severe ill treatment to which you were subjected while you were in custody, did that leave you with any disability?
Oh, plenty. Plenty. This eye is virtually blind. I use this, and I was in the United States sometime looking after my eyes, and they said, if I didn't remove this one, it would interfere with the functioning of this. I had to insist that I wouldn't go about with one eye. Please leave this one.
Thank you, sir. What is the total period of your detention?
19 months.
19 months. Now, one last question. What reliefs are you seeking from this honorable commission?
First, the public apology, and secondly, the compensation for loss of earnings for 2 years, for damages done to my various property, especially the hotel.
Okay. Those are the reliefs you are seeking?
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. My Lord, that will be all for the witness.
Dr. Frederick Fashion.
Yes.
Can you tell the commission how old you are? What's your age?
I am 65.
You are 65.
Yeah.
And you were kept in leg chain for how long?
I think for about 11 days.
For 11 days.
Yes.
And you have any physical sign on your body to show that you were kept there for 11 good days at the age of 65 years?
I think you're asking the wrong question. You should ask me if there are witnesses.
Please answer the question. You are not answering me. You are answering. The question is being asked by the commissioner, not me. At your age, 65 years, you were detained with leg chain in your leg for 11 good days. Is there any physical sign to show that their statement is true? Or you just came here to concoct story?
Look at him. Look at him.
Please, can you answer the question?
What type of physical signs do you want?
Somebody who, if I wear a wristwatch for good 11 days without being removed, there is every tendency that it will show a sign. Please, you have not answered my question. I don't have or I have. Yes or no. It's simple. It's simple, yes or no. You are educated man, you are intelligent.
Silent, please. Well, maybe that's why we are interacting at very different levels, because I am educated.
So
I don't have physical.
Fine. Who said were you detained?
I was detained at Alagu.
Well, Counsel, let me just make one thing clear. Is the fact of detention an issue?
I wonder.
Are you saying he was never detained?
He was detained, but the torture is an issue. And I know why I asked the question, my lord.
All right.
Who said were you detained?
I was detained first in cell 1.
Yes.
The Inter Center.
Not
Adeniji Adele, and so on and so forth.
You were never detained at Alamo, for CID Alamo close.
For CID Alamo close?
Yes.
That's where I spent 16 months.
16 months?
Yes.
So it will not be wrong to say that we were told a few minutes ago that you were detained along with Chief Olufalaye in the garage of the AIG, where all forms of respect and everything was given to you.
That is not very correct.
You were detained at Alamo for 16 months. Were you ever detained in the cell, that is in the garage belonging to the AIG?
Later, I was.
Later, what was the condition of that place?
A garage.
It was a garage?
Yes.
Silence. Dr. Fashion, you are the originator of Odua People's Congress.
Yes.
Are you happy with the activities of Odua People's Congress?
Very.
You are very happy?
Yes.
Even with the carnage that happened a month ago, caused by the Odua People's Congress, you are very happy?
You are misinforming this commission. Odua People's Congress had no hand in the carnage that happened.
How many times were you taken to Ikeja Magistrate Court in answer to the treason charge?
Only once.
Only once?
Yes.
And you told this commission that the charge was never substantiated. What do you mean by that? You were taken once, and you expected that it could have been substantiated that once. What do you mean by that? Can you further clarify, please?
In court, we were charged with levying war against the state. And one would have thought that those who levied the charge would bring in evidence to substantiate the allegation.
You took your plea that day?
Yes.
Have you ever been to court before?
Yes.
And the first day you were taken to court, the trial took place and judgment was given.
My plea was taken.
Was any trial conducted?
No trial was conducted even throughout the whole 18 months or 19 months.
And in your belief or in your opinion, by attending to court or going to court once, the trial was not substantiated. The charge was not substantiated.
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. You painted Alhaji Biu and members of his team as tyrants, torturers. Is that correct?
Very correct.
That is very correct. And can you remember, if you cast a man back to when you were there, that these people you are painting before this honorable commission as tyrants, that you ever went to them and reported a case against a woman who defrauded the proceeds of the hotel, Century Hotel?
I never did that to Zachary Biu.
Pardon?
I never did that to Zachary Biu.
Whom did you give the case?
I gave it to, I mentioned it to Mr. Enape, and I have not mentioned Mr. Enape in this. I don't know why you find.
What is the rank of Mr. Enape?
I don't know.
And under whom does he serve?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Will you be surprised to hear that Enape was working under Zachary Biu?
I would be very surprised.
You are surprised?
Yes.
When you mentioned in Exhibit 1 that Zachary Biu, Enape, and Clement Ogaba were those torturers.
I didn't say Enape was a torturer. Please read the...
Okay, what did you say about him?
Can you refer me to my petition?
Look at your petition and consider your oral testimony before the commission. What did you tell the commission? You said a few minutes ago, I know you are an intelligent man. You are not a man who cannot remember what he said 2 minutes ago. Can you tell the commission what you said about this group a few minutes ago?
I didn't say anything about Mr. Enape.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything about Mr. Enape.
Okay, by virtue of Enape's rank, do you think he can take up the investigation of any case reported at a place like the Force ID, the highest investigating body?
He was said to be my IPO.
Yes.
That was when I got to Alagno.
Even in any case, he could be referred to him?
Of course, yes.
Are you not deceiving the panel by the commission by saying that those you painted as very, very black torturers are those same people who helped you when you were still detained with them?
No. They didn't help me.
So what happened to that case now? The case you reported to them. Somebody defrauded the proceeds of your Century Hotel. The same hotel you are telling the commission that the police should pay for clientelship and all the money that would have accrued to it.
The matter was settled out of court.
Was it ever in court?
It was in court.
Who charged it to court? Who charged the case to court?
The management of the hotel at that time.
Charged the case to court?
Yes.
When I mean charge, I'm talking a criminal offense was established. Who investigated the case and who charged the case to court?
You bringing in
please, look.
Please, I don't now. I know you're a highly imaginative person. I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about is that, if I may remind you once again,
yes,
that you reported a case to the team of Alhaji View.
No, I did not report.
Okay, you reported a case to a NAPE.
Yes.
Who was serving under Alhaji View, and the case was investigated. And you are making me to believe, and the commission, that the case was charged to court. Is that not true?
Charged to court by who?
What was settled out of?
Charged to court by who?
By those who investigated. Who charged them to? Who charged the case to court?
Well, Mr. Enape is here.
Who charged the case to court? Tell the commission.
Unfortunately for, I didn't charge the matter to court. I was taken to court by the management I was dismissing.
I put it to you that you came to this commission to tell fabricated stories to this commission, to emit sympathy. Is that not correct?
You are misleading this commission.
I'm not misleading. You are misleading.
You are
I
misleading
said I
the
put it to
commission.
you that you fabricated all the stories you told. Is it not good to be a gentleman? Chief Olufalaye came here. I was so gentleman, so gentlemanly as everybody knows him.
That I was not arrested for and detained for 11 months.
Agreed.
That I was not kept at the Inter-Center. That I was not detained at Alagma. That I was not tortured and being put in handcuffs and leg chains. There are people here who went through similar torture, whose evidence are yet to come. I am not the first, and I will not be the last. I can assure you. The others are here.
Hello, that's all for the witness.
Thank you. Anybody wanting anything from him?
I want to.
I see.
My Lord, for the permission of the Commission, I have just a few questions for the doctor. Before I start, Dr. Fashion, I want to congratulate you because I read recently that you were discharged and acquitted by a court of competent jurisdiction in this country. Congratulations. Sir, you were one of those who fought for the democracy we're enjoying in this country. I'm asking you.
Yeah.
We're not calling.
No. I thought you were going to follow it up with something else. Yes, I am.
Thank you. Your acquittal and discharge by the court recently can be termed the dividend of that struggle.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That was made possible because we are operating a constitutional democracy.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. In a democracy, people respect the Constitution. Yes, you are not calling.
Yes, of course.
You are a role model to many Nigerians, junior ones like us. What I am saying, during your struggle, you have no problem with the SSS. The people you have problem with, or with the government. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
No.
I'm happy that you had no problem with the SSS.
The SSS is government agency.
Sir, with due respect, we are coming. We are here to tell the commission the truth. So what I am saying, if we were not in a democracy, can you imagine what would have happened after you have been discharged in your recent case in court? If we were in a military regime, just tell this court. I want just tell this court what would have happened.
No, shall I tell the commission what happened?
Yes, just tell the commission.
Well,
where do we go with speculation? Where do we land? We can do a lot with if. We want facts.
Shall I go?
Yes, yes.
A high court of this land gave me a bail and sent to the Ikoyi prisons that I be produced in court to come and sign my bail papers. And just as I emerged from the Ikoyi prisons, hordes of policemen descended on me and abducted me and moved me to Ilorin. If that is what you want me to describe as democracy, well.
Doctor, that is not exactly what I want to describe. So let me go straight to my question. Doctor, look at Exhibit 1 before you. Exhibit 1 before you. The last, look at the last 1, 2, 3, the 5th line before you end that page. You said, what page? Page 1, my lord. Page 1? Yes. Yes. Read the page. You said a search was conducted in your premises hotel without a search warrant.
Yes.
So, I want to show you a search warrant that was executed that day, which you signed at the end of the search.
I want to see.
My lord, I am
Look for it.
It was not a search warrant.
It was.
You recorded what you recovered from my house, and you wanted me to sign to ensure that there would be no difference from what you removed from my house. And I don't know if this is not a search warrant.
For the commission, look at the document.
Yes.
This is a search warrant.
Number 52.
Sir, look at the first.
Don't worry, hold it. You have to establish whether it was or was not a search warrant. Is it a search warrant? Huh?
It is entitled search warrant.
Bench warrant.
No.
Criminal search warrant.
Please look at the last page. You see that that document has come from another, there is number 52 there.
Yes, ma'am. It says a criminal from D search warrant in the Magistrates Court of the Lagos State Magisterial District to the Director General SSS and all SSS men. Whereas information upon oath and in writing has this day been made that there is reasonable ground for believing that there is in the residence of Frederick Fashion, Doctor, Century Hotel, and Best Hope Hospitals, Mushin, namely subversive documents, there's something I cannot read, and ammunition, arms and ammunition, and any other incriminating or security documents. You are hereby commanded in the head of state's name with proper assistance to enter the above named residence and there diligently search for the things aforesaid. And if the same or any part thereof are found on search, to bring the things so found. And also 3, and also set for Frederick Fashion, Doctor, before this court to be dealt with according to law.
That's all right. Tender it, then we can decide what it is. Tender the document.
Yes. So I seek to tender that document as exhibit.
What number will this be? Correct?
Sir, why you were detained with the SSS? Why you were detained? You were fed regularly. Why in our detention you were fed regularly? Just answer yes or no. If you were not fed regularly, you will tell the court that you were not fed regularly. In SSS facilities, I mean SSS, when you were detained and we were taking care of you.
No, you didn't even provide food. You were given 20 naira per day for meals. And people had to make their own arrangement. SSS did not provide food.
Sir, with due respect to you, I was happy when you said you didn't have quarrel with us, you had quarrel with the government. And we are here to tell the people what transpired between the SSS as an organization and yourself, with due respect to you. Why you were with us, we were feeding you regularly.
He told you they were given 20 naira a day. That buys only 1 packet of biscuits for a doctor. Can we move forward? This is not very material.
Sir, why would what? My Lord, what we are trying to show that.
What really has he alleged against SSS?
Page 3. Perpetrators of these crimes. 4 and 5. 4 and 5. 4 and 5. That refers to Adoke and Alhaji Dama. What exactly? What exactly? Were you tortured by this agent? Were you in any way tortured by this agent?
I was.
So can you describe how and what form of torture?
When eventually the SSS agreed that my wife should bring me food, Mrs. BMU Adoke told my wife she couldn't bring me more than anything more than 1 egg and 1 slice of bread per day. Do you call that food?
Sir, when you were presented food, you were afraid that they would poison you. You refused eating. Consequently, it was agreed that your own wife should be bringing food to you once a day on agreement. That is you directed. Your own wife should be bringing food once a day.
I didn't. I have just told you in my affidavit that breakfast that was delivered in the SSS headquarters at between 7 and 8 a.m.
Because we have some visitors. or want to hear them, want to introduce them.
So
if you have not finished, you can adjourn it to tomorrow.
Just finish.
Just one question.
One question.
All right, ask. Not one speech, just one question.
Just one question. Sir, I am putting it to you with due respect that while you were with us, there was no torture, and when you were sick, they took you, you saw a medical doctor. Who treated you?
Treated me?
Yes, yes.
I am a doctor and I know what treatment is. I saw your doctor and she took my complaint and saw me 17 days later. And even when she saw me 17 days later, she didn't bring me any treatment.
You said you had only one question. If you have more than one. No, you can ask the one. I don't want to stop you. We can adjourn it for it tomorrow. If you think you have not finished.
My Lord, we will, if you want to adjourn,
Not if I want to adjourn.
we will accept it.
Have you finished? If not, we adjourn to tomorrow.
We are not finished.
All right.
Thank you, my Lord.
Case will continue. Human rights, and who has his administration has been very helpful to us. I asked for the Cooker, a member of the panel, the commission, to introduce him.
My Lord, members of the commission, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor and special privilege to introduce to you the delegation that we have from IDEA. IDEA is Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. They're based in Stockholm in Sweden. This particular organization is concerned with electoral democracy all over the world, and it is good to note that our current president was very much associated with this organization. They were the very, very first international organization that we had to do business with, so to say. And they were of tremendous help to us in helping us to articulate and clarify the mandate of our commission. We are especially honored to have Sir Sridhar Ramphal, who many of you remember only as the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Chief Emeka Anyoku's immediate predecessor. He is retired, but a very, very busy man, and we are grateful that he has had time to be with us here. He's currently the chief negotiator of the government of the Caribbean region and in international negotiations with Europe and the Americas. He's also co-chairman of Global Governance and the Chancellor of Warwick University and the University of West Indies. Warwick University, many of you will remember, is General Gowon's alma mater. He was Secretary General of the Commonwealth between 1975 and 1990. Before then, he was Guyana's Foreign Minister between 1972 and 1975. And as you know, Chief Emeka Anyoku was Foreign Minister of Nigeria, although for only 3 months before he became Secretary General himself much later. So it seems that the Foreign Ministry is a good starting point for all aspiring Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Sir Sridhar Ramphal and his delegation, I saw Mr. Roll, who is I think he's also on the delegation, the director of IDEA in Stockholm, and I know Nomboniso is here. She is actually our signpost as far as IDEA is concerned. Still, members of the commission, not everybody can pronounce her name, but she's here with us. I can't see other members of the delegation. It's my distinguished pleasure to call on Sir Sridhar Ramphal to please address this gathering. Thank you.
Before he starts, Father omitted one thing. He comes from grazing, and because of his presence here, I'm wearing a grazing tie. Just give him a microphone.
Thank you, my Lord and members of the Commission. It is a great privilege for anyone to have an opportunity to contribute to the revival of democracy in any part of the world. When that part of the world is a land that is very close and dear to you, that privilege is enhanced. And so my presence and that of the representatives of International IDEA who are here really feel that we are being allowed a very great privilege in sharing in this experience of the Commission's work. You have been good enough to give us the opportunity to listen to this process. It is a moving process. It is one which makes it clear to how large a degree this element of revelation is a catharsis for the ultimate establishment and endurance of democracy in Nigeria. And if that were to be, even in part, a result of this process, that would be a contribution not only to Nigeria, not only to Africa, but to all the world. So what is taking place here is of the most immense significance. International IDEA considered it its duty, and as I said, a real privilege, to have been able to be of small assistance in the very early days of the Commission's life, indeed in the process of the Commission coming into being. And I want you to know, you and your colleagues and all Nigerians, that the International IDEA remains in your service if there are ways in which we can contribute further. Beyond the work of the Commission itself, as you rightly said, it was President Obasanjo who invited us in the very early days of his administration, against a background of his awareness of the degree to which International IDEA was involved in a proactive way in the pro-democracy struggle for freedom in Nigeria. And in the early days of his administration, he invited International IDEA with the collaboration of Nigerians to make an assessment of the democratization process that he was putting in hand, of the problems that needed to be faced and overcome, and to provide, if you like, an annotation of the agenda of dialogue that had to take place between all Nigerians. We have worked on that assignment with the very substantial involvement of colleagues in Nigeria and the Nigerian public, of academics, of the authorities, of civil society, of ordinary men and women. And out of it has come a report which I had the privilege to present to President Obasanjo yesterday, and which I would like to take the opportunity to tender to the Commission, if I may use the language of the law, to make available, sir, to you and to your colleagues, as we are doing to the public in Nigeria in due course. But if I may, I would like, at this stage, while you're still wearing the tie of our mutual end, to present the report to you and to hope that it may contribute both to the work on which the Commission is engaged and to the ultimate objective of the President himself. Thank you very much. Thank you for the privilege on behalf of International ID. And of course, we refer to the work of the Commission. Thank you all very much.
And maybe when we go into chambers, we have more discussions on the ways and means you can and will be of help to us. Thank you for coming. Thank you.